So, welcome back to Diaries of a Former Mortician vlog. Okay, so I'm back in the cemetery. So, today I wanted to talk about the different types of funeral homes to work in, okay? Now, I've worked in all different types of funeral homes. Yes, I funeral home hopped. I worked for the nice, prestigious, multi-million-dollar establishment funeral homes. I've worked for the little family, small funeral home, and I worked for the corporation funeral home. Now, working for the little small family funeral homes, they cut a lot of corners and break a lot of laws. Not all of them, but the ones I worked for did, okay? So, I'm going to start off telling you a funny story about one of my experiences. Let me find somewhere to park because this ain't happening. What's that over there? So, my first experience, well, I will tell you the first experience later, but this is a funny one. So I'm going to start off with something hilarious. Okay, so, one of the funeral directors and funeral home owners that I worked for, he was obviously a gay man married to a woman, and I think everybody knew, and they just didn't care that a lot of people marry for obvious reasons, business, money, whatever. So he was gay. His wife, I don't know if she was lesbian or not, but I knew she knew. So he would always hire these like very attractive guys, to do like work around the funeral home. They didn't have any degree. They were just, hands. So I kept wondering, I'm like, okay, why is he always hiring these dudes? And then like I would hear, oh, I just got out of jail, I can't get a job. So he would hire these dudes that just got out of jail, and I know he was having other relationships with them, so I'm not going to go into that, but he's also smoked marijuana, the owner of the funeral home. And every time, like, we would have a first call is when you go and pick up a deceased person from like the hospital or their home from where they died. So he would leave like the butts of the joints that he would smoke in the van that we used to pick up. So I'm like driving to go pick up someone that had passed, and I pull up to the scene, not with my cellar missing, but I pull up to the scene and there's a policeman outside, and I see like right on the dashboard there is what they call a roach, from where he finished smoking the joint and just put it down. So the cop is walking up to the van, and I'm like, oh snap. I like grabbed the roach, the little marijuana butt, and I put it in my pocket, right? Because, I'm gonna go up here. Islamic place. This is the Islamic section of the cemetery. But I'm not going that way. So I had to like hide the drugs, and they weren't even mine. So, oh no. Excuse me. Someone's blocking my path. So, the person that died was an older gentleman, and he was living in an upstairs garage apartment. So me and my assistant had to go and, remove his body from the apartment. And it was pretty sad because he died alone. He choked on like he was eating a bowl of soup, watching television in his underwear. And so he choked on, I'm going to go over here and do the video. This looks interesting. So he choked on some soup while he was eating it, watching television in his tighty whities. And he died. And he was like in his 60s, maybe? Yeah, so he died alone. And his wife was actually at the scene. He was separated from his wife, and she was so nonchalant about it. She was like almost relieved that he had died. Obviously they were on bad terms. She wasn't crying. She was just sitting there like, can y'all hurry up? So okay, I'm getting out. So she was like, can y'all hurry up? And I'm like, well, we're gonna need some help getting him down the stairs. And so we asked the police officer, can you help us? And he was like, no, I'm not touching that. You know, so we were like, fine. So we got him down. Anyway, we took him back to the funeral home. And then I forgot that I had that joint in my pocket. So I'm like, I get home and I reach in my pocket, you know, before I take my clothes. And so then I have this joint. Anyway, make a long story short. There's somebody there. Make a long story short, there's some crazy funeral home owners out there that you need to be aware of when you get a job. So, yeah, so that's one of the little stories. I have more stories, but I'll save those for later. Also, this funeral director I worked for, the same one, he was very a shrewd businessman. Like, this one family couldn't afford to finish paying for their funeral. So instead of taking the body to the cemetery, do you know what he did? He took their body. I'm sure y'all heard this on the news. He took his body and put the body back on the family's front porch and left them there because they couldn't finish paying their funeral bill. And you know, that's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's bad morals, bad business, but it's not legal. So, I don't know. It's a crazy business. Like, some people in that business aren't about the love and the people and the comforting. They're about the money. So, I'm just gonna stand by this little tree. So, if anyone out there wants to be a mortician, you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of your morals. I'm telling you, that's one of the reasons I got into the business. But I did enjoy learning everything that I need to learn. So I don't want to sit on this bench because it's wet. So I'm like walking around. But yeah, so Diaries of a Former Mortician. Anyway, okay, so I'll just go ahead and tell you another story. Okay, the same guy that I worked for, he also owned a crematory. Ooh, a little candle over here. He also owned a crematory. And he was so cheap and greedy and hungry for money that he would cremate like 2 and 3 people at the same time, like in the same vault. And he would just split the ashes in 3 different boxes. You know, it's called commingling. And they would just write, you know, this person's name, and this person's name. And all of those ashes are mixed together. So you're getting some strange person's ashes mixed in with your loved one's ashes. And you know what's so funny? All the funeral homes in the area used his service for cremation. So they're getting the same thing. They don't even know. That's pretty bad, isn't it? Yep. People will do all of that just to get some extra money. Because it costs money to run the crematory. Each time they run it costs like money. So if they can run 3 people at the same time and save, they're pocketing that profit. Even though the family already paid for it. Yes. So, if you do decide to get cremated, go to a corporation. Do not go to a small family-owned crematory unless they use a corporation. You ask, excuse me, what service do you use for cremation? And if they give you a big name that you can Google online, go with them. You go to the small town, little rinky-dinks, you're going to be mixed with other people. And you always want it to be mixed, you will get it in death. Anyway. So, I love, this is a peaceful place. I mean, people think this is scary, but it's really peaceful. It's like a park. In Germany, they have picnics in the cemetery. In Mexico, they celebrate their ancestors in the cemetery. So I really don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, I've been here hundreds of times working, so. And as these people watch me. Oh, do y'all want to see where my friend used to live? I told y'all I used to play in this cemetery when I was a kid. See those houses back there? Yeah, I used to hop this fence. Look. There's not really anything to separate it but some bushes. So we used to hop that fence and like run around the cemetery at night. It was so cool. And this is where I got my beginnings at. So this is awesome that I can do my vlogs here. Okay, well the next video I'm gonna do is gonna be a hilarious story about a husband who died, who had a wife, kids, and a mistress with kids. So y'all stay tuned for that. That's gonna be hilarious because only in America. All right, bye.